Good evening. I'm Jessica Moore. We begin with that breaking news out of Pennsylvania. A person is in custody after a suspected arson fire at the official residence for Governor Josh Shapiro. Shapiro and his family woke up to bangs on the door from police around 2 a.m. Everyone escaped the fire safely. Governor Shapiro said he, his wife, their 4 children, and another family were all inside the home after celebrating Passover Saturday.
This type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay.
The recent arson attack on the Pennsylvania governor's mansion is a stark reminder of the importance of having a robust training program for your state police staff. What happened at the mansion is really totally unacceptable. You had a breach, and you had the breach go all the way into the mansion where the individual was able to set fire, placing the governor and his family in severe risk. Thank God for the troopers who were able to get into the residence and get the governor's family out of the house. That being said, there is also some failures that are involved here. When you have someone breaching the property, as in this case, attackers tend to go through a planning cycle prior to executing the attack, which gives opportunity for the state police to spot this individual doing surveillance. Part of that cycle of planning is doing pre-attack surveillance to see where would be the best avenue of attack, where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses in the system. Of course, you are going to try as an attacker to defeat that system. And then it's a planning phase. And I like to say that the more prominent the target, the more sophisticated the attack. In this case, you have the governor's mansion, with the target being the governor and his family. So there's no doubt in my mind, and you'll see when you watch the news coverage that's going to be coming up on this, that this individual went through a planning process, which gave the trooper staff opportunity to spot the individual prior to this and prevent this attack. Unfortunately, when you have assignments like this, they tend to be dry, dull, and very little happens, and you tend to develop a normalcy bias, which is a cognitive thought process, which means nothing bad is going to happen. And an example of that may well be that they were aware that this individual had breached the property, and they were searching for him. And while they were conducting that search, this individual entered the governor's house and set the place on fire. Why wasn't an asset, i.e. a trooper, dispatched to the governor's residence to alert him and to put a guard there? That's probably the normalcy bias kicking in, thinking that it was probably just someone jumping over the fence line and maybe trying to cause some havoc along the way, rather than realizing the severity of the situation. When you have a prominent target, such as the governor, you need to ensure that the troopers have the training that is required for that position. And just going through the State Police Academy and having years of experience doesn't necessarily equate to the knowledge that is required to protect the governor and his family. These troopers should understand the concept of a robust perimeter security system with a layered approach that will deter, detect, delay, and deny any attack. And if you are a police officer or you're a trooper out there and you have a role in executive protection and you don't understand that concept of the 4 Ds of security, then you need to get some training. It is important to make sure that your staff has industry standard certifications issued by the private sector, certifications such as a CPP or a PSP. And if you are a asset protection professional and you don't know those acronyms, it's probably a good indication that some additional training is required. A 40-hour block of instruction is not sufficient to give troopers training to protect an asset such as the governor and his family. Lastly, I wanted to speak about the overnight shift. That in and of itself is a problem. If you are a supervisor and you are thinking that you have personnel that are wide awake, alert, and attentive on duty, you're sadly mistaken. It is incumbent upon managers and supervisors to ensure that their staff is alert, attentive, and doing the patrols that they should be doing.